There's the story that people tell, and then there's the truth that really matters. Welcome to the Growth Obsessed podcast. Real and raw conversations on leadership, business, and the relentless pursuit of growth. No fluff, no highlight reels, just the struggles, the setbacks, and the lessons that build true success. I'm Ben Lang, and I sit down with the most driven entrepreneurs and leaders to really uncover what shapes them, the pain, the resilience, and the breakthroughs. So if you're here, you're not just looking for surface level motivation. You're here to be challenged, to grow. So let's get real. Let's get uncomfortable. This is the Growth Obsessed podcast. And don't forget to subscribe now. The conversation that you need might be the one that changes everything. So today I'm super excited. I've got Joe Cook. Joe is one of the agents here at the Collective Agency. I'm just getting to know Joe really well and hoping that I get to know her really well through the upcoming years. I think she's incredibly brilliant in her own right. And I love how authentic she is, and she's her true self. And I'm a huge believer in authenticity, that authenticity will win every time over the suit and the tie and all the fancy cars and all the other stuff, right? Because it's just stuff. But anyway, without further ado, Joe Cook, please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Joe Cook. Per every podcast requirement, I'm supposed to say I'm happy to be here. So I'm happy to be here. I would like the record to show that nobody told me that this was also going to be video recorded. So for those of you that can see me, this is what I look like when nobody gives me a heads up. But yeah, it's good to be here.
Perfect. Listen, I want to. So you just taught a class, and your class was about how you. What was the title of your class?
Oh God, I wish you would have prepped me for this. Hold on, let me find it. It's too
I th-
long for me to
I
keep
think
it in
it
my
was something
memory.
about fucking with the homies.
Oh no,
But
fucking with the homies is the takeaway. The
oh, that's the
takeaway.
takeaway. Okay.
That's the point. No, it was something like how to do real estate when like you don't like to make eye contact, don't own a Lamborghini, and take 40 milligrams of Prozac daily to like keep the scary thoughts away. It was something like that.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. But you did an awesome job, and I thought that was truly brilliant. You are actually our top producing agent here at the Collective Agency, and you take kind of a different approach, and don't really believe that you got to sit on the phone and cold call for 3 hours every morning. That there's other pathways to success. There's more than one way to skin a cat, if you will. So I just want you to talk like a little bit about like your strategy, and then we're going to dive into some deeper stuff.
For sure, for sure. I wouldn't even go so far as to calling it a strategy because a strategy would like imply that like there is like a motive or like an end goal. It's not so much a strategy so much as like an observation that I've made about myself and like where my business comes from. And so a big part of how I do business and like how business happens to me, I guess I would say, is just truly just being out in my community, offering what I can to the people around me, making sure that the people in my sphere feel cared for, doing the things that bring me joy, making sure that my life is not looking good, but making sure like the things that when I'm on my deathbed, I can say I did. I like took my skydiving certification. I like joined a pickleball league. I like learned to speak Mandarin. By doing all of those things that like just naturally bring me joy and naturally fulfill me as a person, I'm engaging with other people around me. And if I just show them care and also are just genuinely interested in who they are as people, they get to know me, I get to know them. And then eventually, when they're ready to buy a house, I don't know, 9 times out of 10, I'm available. They know me, they like me, I know them, I like them. We're buying a house together.
Yeah, I mean that's what I always say. So I say this a lot. You may have heard me say it, but real estate is a contact sport, right? So you have to build relationships. You have to converse with people, whether it's about buying a real estate or not. I mean, you do have to build relationships. This is, I think most people don't understand. This is a customer service and a relationship business. I think before anything else. I don't know if you agree with that.
Yeah, I think what I would say, like the way that I like to think about real estate is that like real estate is a byproduct of like having great community. Like real estate is the thing that happens when you're focusing on making sure that people around you feel cared for, making sure that the things in your life feel fulfilling. And then like real estate happens. You know, I'm not going into these interactions being like, okay, in 3 years they might buy a house with me. So like I gotta suck it up and like kiss their ass like during pickleball and let them win. It's like, no, like real estate's just like a passive byproduct of living your best life.
I love that. I love that philosophy. I do. I truly do. So, like I mentioned, you are the top producing agent here at the Collective Agency. So, but I'm sure that it hasn't always been that way. I'm sure you've faced some struggles in life. What's the hardest thing that you've ever had to face that no one else knows about?
Like unrelated to real estate or still in like the sphere of real estate?
No, let's just jump out of real estate. I mean, it can be real estate, but let's jump out of real estate and let's get uncomfortable. Let's just get
For
real.
sure. I'm the wrong person to ask that question to because there is nothing that nobody doesn't already know about me. Like, I am a certified yapper. I will tell anybody anything. So I can just tell you the difficult things that I've faced, but also every other person's heard this story because I chat. So I would say, I think one of the biggest things that I constantly kind of come back to regularly in my life, like everybody else, is just like my childhood relationships. And for me specifically, it's my relationship, or like I guess now lack thereof, my relationship with my mother. Um, I've had to spend a lot of time realizing that. So, short backstory, my mother and I disconnected or like ended our familial relationship or whatever you want to say about it when I was like 17 ish. And I spent a long time thinking that she like did that to spite me, or she did that because she hated me, or she did that because she's a bad person. And like what mother wouldn't like advocate for their child and like want to like be in their child's life. And I think kind of like the older I get now that I have a child, I've really come to learn that like it's not as black and white as that, and that like I can not have her in my life and still be a good mother myself. And it doesn't necessarily make her a bad person for not wanting to be my mother. And it doesn't necessarily make me like unworthy of love for not having a mother. So just like a lot of the things that I face, especially now being a parent, is like the mother wound.
Yeah, I can totally relate to that. I don't know if you know this about me or my mother took off when I was 8 months old, and I never my father raised me, and I tried to build a relationship with my mother when I was about 20, 21, and I kept chasing and chasing and chasing and just rejection, rejection, rejection
Yeah,
until I finally decided, okay, this is not a healthy relationship. That let's create some boundaries, and and you have to kind of like come to the conclusion it's not it's not me, it's her. And she's even made the statement to me, I should have never been a mother, I should have never had a kid,
right.
because I'm really just not cut out for motherhood. And that's her thing, right? That doesn't have anything to do with me. I'm sure same in your situation, but it, like, tell me how you move past it. Like, how do you come to terms? Because this is all about personal growth, right? So like, how do you grow beyond, and a lot of people, I think, in your situation, my situation, they go straight to the victim. the victim card and the woe is me, and they let it kind of keep them down, right?
For
But
sure.
I think I've elevated, right? I've done some pretty big things in my life, and like I said, you're the top producing agent. So I think we've both moved past that, and not got stuck in the victimhood. So let talk about that more. Tell me more about that. How do you get
Yeah.
past it?
So I'd say two things. One, I've created this formula that daddy issues equal kinky sex and mommy issues equal wealth. So like of the two, like I'm glad of the one that I got. So I would say that like a big point of that, and again, like I speak entirely from my own personal experience. I do not claim to be a psychologist. I do not claim to be, and I have no prerequisites for any of this. This is all just vibes and like my personal opinions. So I would think that like some of the things that I see and I feel and I witness would be that like you start in the victim blaming process, right? Like that is a valid part of the process. Like I'm not ever saying that I went straight from my mother, like I don't want to use the word kicking me out, but like my mother dissolving our relationship to immediately me being like, you know what, that's fair. Like no, like that was from 17 to 27. I was pissed. Like from 17 to 27, I was like, she hates me, I hate her, I hope she dies, like I hope she loses all of her friends. And I think it's just like with anything in life, like the more experiences that you have, the more you realize that like everybody's the main character in their own life, and like their actions are their actions, they're not my actions. I think a couple of really big parts that kind of allowed me to transition from more of the like fuck you, fuck everything you've done to me, to the like I don't wish you death, but I'm also not going to wish you well, is just one, dialectical behavior therapy. This idea that um, it's unfortunate that these things have happened to you, but it is your responsibility to fix them within yourself. It's not somebody else's responsibility to like make it better. So just like taking ownership over my own feelings and my own thoughts. Um, Two, I would say having a child of my own and being able to see that like, oh shit, like when this happens, like I also feel angry and like I can take control of my own actions. I don't have to have the same actions she had, but at least I can understand that like yes, this is a very frustrating predicament to be in, and maybe she didn't have the tools necessary or like the science necessary or the support necessary to act in like a compassionate way. And then very lastly, drugs. Like I take so much Prozac. I am like the queen of anti-anxiety medication, and I've definitely had periods where like I've gone off of it for a couple of days and then been like everything's so tough, everybody hates me. So it's like a good concoction of mental health drugs.
So I heard ownership. I heard, we are, we're not responsible for other people's actions. I think that's really powerful. Like the end of the day, and I have a good friend who's also a good friend of yours who always says, what other people think of me is none of my business.
For sure.
And that's such a true statement. It's the same thing with their actions. Like, I always think about like, okay, well, people, you hear two people arguing, and somebody is like, well, you made me feel this way. And for me personally, and I'm not saying it's wrong, like for me personally, I'm like, well, wh- another person cannot make me feel any particular
Yes.
way, right? It's my choice to feel that way, or to respond in whatever way, or to just let it go, right?
Yeah.
So I think you had some really powerful things in there about taking ownership, and also I heard you also say that, now that you're a mother, you can almost put yourself in her shoes, and so I think having empathy like helped you. It sounds to me like having empathy helped you conquer it or get past it.
Yeah, I would say so. Like, this is a thing that I've noticed for myself a lot that kind of alienates me from some other people is like, I want to guess I call it introspection, like, where I don't get road rage because I have never been a perfect driver. Like there have been times that I'm driving and I have like specific memories of being like, "Oh shit, I accidentally cut that person off. I feel so bad. Like, oh my god, I feel terrible about this." So when somebody cuts me off, I'm like, shoot, they're probably really embarrassed. Like, I have so much ability to just take moments that I have done wrong and like know that I, in my heart of heart, wasn't like, fuck them. Like, they should have driven faster on the highway. Like, it's their fault I cut them off. Like, no, I'm over there being like, oh, so sorry. I was changing the radio station. I probably shouldn't have done that. Like, please don't hate me. And so I just kind of assume that everybody else, when they kind of like quote unquote like do wrong, it's probably a moment where they're like, oh, fuck, I'm so embarrassed. Or like, oh, fuck, I was really angry and couldn't regulate myself right there. God, I feel so bad. Like, nobody's out here like causing malice intentionally because it brings them joy.
Yeah. So from what I know about you and this conversation thus far, I feel like you have a very high emotional intelligence.
Thanks, I made it myself.
And I'm a believer that people who really have achieved, emotional intelligence, a high level of emotion intelligence are usually number one going to be the happiest people, and number two, the most successful, because most every career, whether you're doctor, nurse, lawyer, and maybe not an engineer, but a lot of professions, you have to, like, your income is correlated to how you deal with people,
Absolutely.
right? Even if you're a doctor, like, you have to build your patients, or you're a lawyer, you have to build your clients, or whatever, right? So I think that high emotional intelligence is always gonna, you could tie it back to income or success, in a lot of different ways. So how, why do you feel, or like, what was your path to achieve a high level of emotional intelligence?
Yeah, that's a great question. Um, Again, like I think it's really important when I like speak from a place of where like people might like watch this and think that like I'm an authority figure on it, to like really verify that like I am just a human being. Like I have no credits, like no degrees, like all of this is personal experience. Like it's just very important that everybody knows that. Like I didn't like read a bunch of self-help books. Like I'm just vibing. Um I I really like I don't think it's anything that I necessarily like did or didn't do. I think it's just like a lot of awareness. Like I don't even know if I would necessarily agree with you on like what you would consider like high emotional intelligence, but from what I think you're asking me, I think what it just is it's really just awareness. It's just recognizing so many times that I have felt a certain way and projecting that onto other people, and just like even if it's false, like even if it's not accurate, even if there are people out there that are just like, my whole goal in life is just to ruin you, like they can't hurt me because I've already projected onto them that like they're just hurt and they need help. Like it doesn't matter now what their intention is. Like I'm coming at them from a place of like, oh man, like that really sucks. Like they probably put in a really tough position. Of course they would lash out like that. And it doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt. I just think the thing that is important to me is that like I can feel my feelings, but I don't have to take actions on them. So like I have been fired by clients. Like I can name 3 times that I've been fired by clients now that are just like, we are not vibing. Like you are too silly, Sally. Like you are not like type A enough for me. And it's like, oh, rejection. That really sucks. But then like you realize like they're making a huge purchase. Like, of course they should feel comfortable with the agent that they're using. Like, it's not them telling me I'm a piece of shit and I should never work real estate ever again. It's them saying I'm uncomfortable in this position and now I have to advocate for myself. And like, that's admirable. So, like, I really just feel like it's a lot of like awareness. It's a lot of awareness of you being in that position and like realizing that like
But
I
how
just,
did you get that? Because a lot of people aren't like that. A lot of people can't be like that. Like, a lot of people will take it personally, and but I think even me, like, I'll take it personally, right?
yeah.
So like, I feel like you're ahead of the game. So I want to know, like, do you meditate? Do you do yoga? But I don't know. Like, is there anything that made you become that? Anything that you like? Personal growth exercises that made you become or helped you become more self-aware, or are you just born with
Dear
self-awareness?
listener, if you are listening to this and not watching this, let me first paint you a picture. I am 5'8". I am over 200 pounds. I still have acne from the fact that I eat too much sugar every day, and I haven't taken a shower in like 3 days. Like, if you were to imagine me as like the pinnacle of like somebody that does yoga, I am not that, and don't let Ben make you think that I'm like that. So no, I think one, and like I'm gonna give credit where credit's due. Like, it's way easier not to be anxious about people hating me if you're taking anti-anxiety drugs. Like, I am not necessarily this person if I don't have medical help. Um, and then uh yeah, I think, gosh, like how did I get like this?
You're just born that way. Your old soul, maybe.
I think if I had to like really really dig down into it and like think globally for people, I think a lot of people take things really personally because there's some negative consequence that comes from it, and I've had so many patterns of positive things coming from confrontation instead of negative things coming from it that it's like I'm okay. Like so many people have had like, I'm just going to use an example here. Like, oh, somebody calls you fat, and like that means that they're laughing at you behind your back. That means that they're trying to turn people against you. Like that means you're going to lose all of your friends, and society's going to think a certain way about you. Versus like when people tell me like, oh, you're not the agent for me. I have 6 other deals that are happening. Like I have patterns that show that that doesn't affect me. I have proof. I have real world experiences of my friends saying, "Hey, you did this thing that really upset me." And then our friendship continues. It doesn't end. So like now I can go into these interactions being like, "Oh, even the worst case scenario, I'm still okay." Like nothing truly bad is happening by people being upset with me. It's giving me an opportunity to either make things right and like amend this, or it's giving me an opportunity to just like continue hanging out with the other friends that I have. But like, I'm not devastated. Like, nothing bad is happening when people like hate me or think I'm fat or don't think I'm type A enough. It's just like,
Well,
there's no pattern.
I think that's admirable. I think that I think that a lot of people just, they maybe it's our society, like our kids right now. Like I don't know. I think of like like participation trophies and stuff. So like the kids, I think now are just like they're used to always winning, right? And
Okay, wait, hold on. No, 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 no. Okay,
you like
listener,
participation and
listener,
trophies.
let me just first tell you, I am 29 years old, okay? I am the participation trophy generation, okay? And here's what I have to say to that. Who is giving out the participation trophies? It's the earlier generations. Like, it's not like we're out here being like, we deserve good things. No, some boomer was like, I don't want my kid to be sad. Give them what they want. Like, so don't let him
Well,
think that it's your fault.
well, no, I just like I want to know. I think like why are people so sensitive and take everything so personally? It's a real thing,
Oh, I
and I
am
do.
very
I
sensitive.
so like I have a 13-year-old and she's like so sensitive, and I
I am
don't know, maybe
incredibly
that's
sensitive. Yeah, no, and like I don't think that like, again, I get offended. Like I get hurt. Like I have a wide breadth of feelings. I cry about things. The thing that I don't do is like take like chaos actions based on that. Like I'm not going to send somebody a rudely written email about why they're wrong for not choosing me or like why they're a bitch and I was right. Like I still hurt. Like I get hurt by a lot of things.
okay.
So like yeah, no, and I think being sensitive is not necessarily uh the opposite of emotional intelligence by any means at all. And I think sensitivity is a great quality.
Sure, sure. Yeah, you can be sensitive. You can feel the feelings, but kind of let them go and not dwell. I think the main thing is not being reactive,
Yeah,
right?
that's like the thing that I would say is, yeah, I can't control my feelings. Some things are going to hurt my feelings, some things are going to feel painful based on like past traumas. The only thing that I can control is how I physically react to the other person based on my feelings, and like I take a lot of accountability in that. And I've even had opportunities, so many opportunities, like there's probably, if my ex-husband listens to this, he'll be like, I don't know, Joe Cook can be a bitch when she's angry. Like there are lots of times too where I have patterns of like being like, oops, like didn't fully heal that. Like, I shouldn't have said that. Like, I didn't take enough of a pause. Like, by no means am I like a Buddha. Like, we're just trying our best. And I just hope that other people also remembered them being in positions where they were trying their best and still said a rude thing. And they'll recognize that, like, shit, Joe Cook probably isn't being a bitch. Like, she's having a tough moment. And we just offer that grace to everybody.
Yeah, yeah. There's that quote, "Be nice to everyone because you never know like what they're going through." I forget the exact quote,
Yeah,
but it's so true. Like you don't know what's going on in other people's lives, right?
for sure.
Um, so let's move on.
Ben's like, I'm done with that actually. Goodbye.
What was what was a failure in your life that absolutely shattered you, and how did you move on? But like, how did you move on from it, and also like, can you pick like a failure that you think maybe shaped who you are today?
Mm. I actually don't have like a whole lot of them from like childhood to now. Like a lot of things are just data points. It's just like patterns. It's just collecting information. I think like when you said that, the first thing that immediately came to my mind and like the thing that I like routinely have nightmares about is actually like selling my previous house. So in October, I sold my homestead. I was on like 25 acres, had a 2,500 square foot house, had a pole barn, had an orchard, had a little cabin in the woods, like all these things that I'd worked so hard to get, and that like I thought I was going to live there for the rest of my life. And then my marriage dissolved, and my co-parent and I really wanted to raise our child together. But he never wanted to live on a farm. Like he had just followed me there, and now that we weren't like emotionally and romantically and sexually tied to each other, like he really wanted to live closer to a big city, but would be willing to like deny himself his interests if it meant that he could continue living with his son with me. And so he was willing to be like, I will just suffer through the next 15 years of my life on this farm with you if it means I can continue living with my child, but just know that I would rather be living in a larger city. And so to have like sat down and within like 6 months of each other have like my marriage dissolve, and then like have my co-parent come to me and be like, I'm going to be miserable here forever, but like I'm willing to do it for you, um, gave me a lot of like so many feelings. And we ultimately decided to sell the farm and move to the closest city. And I love it here. But now that I am here and now that I have more time and now that I'm making money that allows me to like have a cleaner so I'm not spending time cleaning and like things like that. Now that I have more time, I'm rediscovering my interests, and my interests are farming. And so it's like I have just given up this, what I would consider a once in a lifetime thing, where land is not getting any cheaper. I got my land for $300,000. Like that's never going to happen ever again. And to find out that when I have a moment to breathe, all I want to be doing is this thing that I gave up. That's kind of what I would consider my biggest failure, even though like it's not necessarily a failure. And it's still something that like I'm dealing with, like the sadness of knowing that like I got to live this dream for 5 years and not like truly fulfill it. Like I didn't get to see it all the way through. But here I am now, and like I just have to be happy for the fact that I got to do it at some point in time, and maybe I can like live by osmosis from other farms doing a little bit of work here and there. So that's what I would consider like my most like earth shattering, like personal identity devastation.
So did like what? Tell me about the farming. I didn't really know.
Yeah, I mean, I say farming, it's like homesteading. So it was just kind of like 25 acres. 7 of it was wooded. We could like walk around and like identify mushrooms. We had a 15-acre field. Um, had like an orchard, all these fun things, and it was great. Like when I was done with my work day, I'd go outside in the backyard and I grew flowers for a friend's wedding, or I grew enough tomatoes to feed the whole state of Michigan. Like it was just kind of like that dream that you have of like living like that slow, like attached to the earth, like learning how to like dye wool and shear sheep sort of life. And
Do you think that that time maybe helped you with introspection, like just being out in nature and time by yourself?
yes, but probably a little bit more no. I think that time more so solidified a lot about the other areas of my life. So like it solidified that my 10-year relationship with my husband like wasn't really compatible. I had thought coming into this thing that we were both really interested in farming and both had like these same ideas. And then once you practice it, it's like, oh no, actually, we're not really compatible. And maybe like we shouldn't be doing this together anymore. Um, I would say that one of the downsides of having lived on this farm is that I was 2.5 hours one way away from all of my showings. So I wasn't spending as much time home. I was spending a lot of time on the road, driving absolutely everywhere. By the time I got home, it's either too dark to do anything outside, or I'm exhausted, or there's like cleaning the inside of the house to do. So now I'm hiring people to mow my lawn. I'm hiring people to clean my house. I'm hiring people to watch my child so I can just go drive 5 hours round trip for one showing. So like there like it definitely wasn't like a perfect place to be. But it did give me a lot of data points to make new decisions.
Yeah. Yeah. Um tell me.
My favorite color is yellow. My shoe size is 11. I'm 5'8". That should cover all the bases.
I want to know I want to know what's the biggest risk that you ever took that changed everything for you? Biggest risk.
It's tough because I don't necessarily consider them risks because I don't entirely consider them things that I like made with options. More so that it's like this is something I have to do, and now I've done it, and thank God it worked out. But even saying that, like obviously everybody has like free will and autonomy and choices. Like I'm not saying like gun to my head, I couldn't make a decision. I have like two of them. I think, let's go with the more fun one. When my mother and I decided to dissolve our relationship, I was like 17, probably it had to have been just recently turned 18. Like things were rocky for like 6 months, a year, just turned 18. I was in college. I had nowhere to live. I slept in my car for a couple of nights. And when I say like dissolve my relationship with my mother, like it is not by any means like, I mean, like it's traumatic, but like I still had it way better than everybody else. Like my mother gifted me a car to live out of. Like I wasn't like truly, truly homeless. Like she still did a lot of things to make sure that I wasn't going to die, but I didn't feel that way. So like lived out of my car on like my college campus for like 3 days until the police were like, you can't spend the night here. Um, and I had a friend that was like, hey, I just found out about this thing called sugar babying, where like you can just go on dates with old men and like they'll give you money. Like you should try that to like make some really quick cash. Cause like I didn't have a job at the time. Like I was just a full-time student. And I was like, you know what? Like, sure, absolutely. And so I did that for a while. I was like essentially a sex worker for like a couple of years just to like kind of keep things going. And so I think I would consider that probably like my biggest risk, in that like there's always the opportunity for sex trafficking, there's always the opportunity for STDs. There were so many things that could have gone wrong, and like thankfully none of them did. But again, like even though it was a choice, like it was more of like a like this is the thing that I kind of have to do to like keep moving forward with no other sense of certainty.
Do you feel like that time helped to shape who you are today at all or
I mean,
in any way?
I feel like everything helps to shape a person, right? Like
Sure, sure.
everything's
Well,
experience,
how
everything's data points.
yeah, how do you feel that that particular, period of your life helped to shape who you are today?
Um, I think it helped me figure out a lot of the things that I don't want to do. So like I took my sugar babying as like a true like honest to God business. Like I was a businesswoman, like I had schedules, I had prices, I had like it was business, it was business. And I think going into it, I thought the business was to like give men everything they want. And from that, I kind of created this idea about like what all of life would look like. Like I could only be successful if I could put on a persona that made like rich men happy, and to realize that didn't bring me any joy, like that didn't like do anything for me. And then to come into real estate realizing that like I don't want to be put in a place again where like I am just like on the clock to try to make men happy so they buy mansions with me. I was like, I really just don't want to do that again. Like, I just want to kind of hang out with my friends. And so I think having been a sex worker and having been put in a position where like there's like this like social inequality, it really allowed me to come into real estate and specifically say like I don't want to work on the phones. Like I don't want to like try to like convince men that like they should buy a house with me. Like I don't want to meet a stranger again and convince them why I'm great. Like, I just want to hang out as me. And then, like, if I don't die from hunger and can pay all my bills, like, even better. So,
So it sounds like that there was a lot of self-discovery there, like what you want, what you don't want.
for sure. No, absolutely. There's definitely a lot of learning about myself and about the things that I like. And it even like changed like how I view relationships too, right? Where it's like so frequently if I wanted to like have a romantic relationship with somebody else while I'm doing this job, like there's this whole idea of like monogamy and like you can't love your partner and be wooing other men at the same time for money and like all these things that it's just like, wait, hold on, but why? Like, why can't I do my job? That's just my job and also love my partner. And so then like then you start getting into this like what really is monogamy? Like what really is important in my relationships with people? Like is it the fact that I'm exclusively having sex with you that like makes us committed to each other, or is it the fact that like I'm constantly choosing you and like all these other things? So like yeah, like it definitely changed my perspective on relationships, whether that's friendships or romantic relationships, and then also changed my perspective on like the things that I am willing to do, like the risk reward payoff of like being happy versus making money. And like you don't really have to choose, you can be happy and make money. Not entirely accurate, capitalism sucks, but still.
So I just like something just clicked for me through this conversation. So what I've noticed throughout this conversation is you're extremely
I'm
curious about other
cute.
people. You're
Viewer,
cute.
just know I'm very cute.
You're cute. You're very curious about other people and also like why things are the way that they are, and you also question like societal norms and like question why are things this way. It almost sounds to me like that's how you're kind of like this old soul because you do question and you are curious about life and why the things are the way they are. Is that a fair assumption or
Yeah.
statement?
So whenever I have to like give like a little like I remember like being younger and people would be like, how would you describe yourself? Like I always described curious as like who I was. And since I spent like an hour shitting on my mother, now let me turn around and be like, my mother did a lot of great things for my curiosity. So when I was, I'm going to pick an age, it might not be the exact age. When I was like 13 years old, I decided I didn't want to go to school anymore. I just want to live in the Sylvania wilderness and like build quinzhees and fly fish and learn how to like build a canoe. And my mother was like, bet, no problem, drop out of school, I'll drive you up there, like I'll come pick you up in 6 months, have fun. So yes, I would say that there are so many things in life that like I want to know more about, and I'm very curious about why they have to be a specific way. And my mother specifically was very much like, you want to learn wrestling? Yeah, here's every piece of gear you need. We're not going to buy it used. Like, I'm just going to go all in. You want to learn the bass guitar? We're just going to go all in. You want to drive to Puerto Rico to learn Spanish? Here's a passport. Like, I'll see you in 6 months. I'm like 16 years old. Like, she was very, very much a pro go find the answers sort of person.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. Wait, I don't know what's a, did you say Quincy?
Yeah, yeah, a
What
Quincy.
is that?
Okay, so it's like and for anybody that might be native to the Michigan area, if I'm pronouncing it wrong, my deepest apologies. Um, to the best of my knowledge, it is a like kind of like you like mound snow and then dig out the inside of the snow to create like what some people consider like an igloo with quotation marks. But you're not like compacting bricks to make it up. You're just like compacting one big snowball essentially and then digging out the center of it to sleep in.
I've made a ton of Quincy's in my
Hell
life
yeah. Right.
without even knowing
Right.
it.
I'll see you in the Sylvania wilderness. Let's go.
I used to do that when I was a kid all the time.
Hell yeah. Me too.
All the time. Um, what do you wish what do you wish that more people understood about the price of chasing their dreams?
I don't really feel like they're well,
Is
in
there a
like
price to chasing your dreams?
in like a metaphorical sense, like no. Like best case scenario, you're happy. Worst case scenario, you found out that wasn't the thing to be happy about. Go try this other thing. So like from like a conceptual standpoint, no cost, risk, reward. Like it's just all reward. From a logistical standpoint, like most people probably have families to feed, they probably have themselves to feed, they have bills to pay. Like the uncertainty of if what you're doing will keep the people around you safe, that's personally not a risk that I would take, and I would not stand here and encourage other people like, yeah, like just go follow your dreams, like quit your day job, move to LA, become a SoundCloud musician. Like, no, please don't. Actually, like capitalism sucks and it's meant to make it so that way it's hard for you to like quote unquote follow your dreams. Um, so in that regards, huge risk. Cost analysis does not benefit to like follow your dreams. I think for me, the thing that like makes sense for me is that like real estate is not my dream. Like I am not following my dream. Like I did not grow up always wanting to be a realtor, always wanting to sell properties. Again, real estate is just a byproduct of the things that are my dreams, of learning how to speak Mandarin, of being better at pickleball, of having a great relationship with my son and making sure that he has other friends that, feel safe around him. And then it just so happens that like people also need to buy houses. So like conceptually, follow your dreams. Realistically, if your dreams involve making or not making money, you're fucked. But also like real estate's not my dream. Me following my dreams or me just having hobbies.
But you do in a way you feel like you're living the dream right now because you are learning Mandarin, you are
Yes.
getting better at pickleball, you are spending time
Yes.
with the homies.
100%. My life is the dream. No, don't get me wrong.
So
Like,
yeah, that's why I asked
yeah.
because so I feel like you're living your dreams
Yes.
and life is and you feel like you're in a great place. So um
100%. And don't get me wrong though, like there's still lots of things that like I one more time am not like this like Buddha like higher elevation person. Like despite all the things that I have like said and like whatever, like I still also came from the Atkins diet era. Like I came from the Weight Watchers era. Like I am constantly my biggest critic about my weight. And like there are still so many other things about me that I have that I would like to explore and work on. So I just want to like be clear that like this is not the end destination. Like, we are still in the process. But yes, I am enjoying the process very much right now, exclusively because I don't have to worry about money, so I can just go do the other things I want to do.
What are the things that you want to explore and work on still?
Ooh, about myself, I would like to have a better relationship with food and also with my body. Like, cooking brings me no joy, eating brings me no joy. I spend a lot of time like trying to avoid eating to a point where like I can't avoid it anymore. And then because I don't cook, I have nothing to eat here. So it's just like eat a lot of fast food all at once and then feel like shit and let the cycle kind of continue. So I would love to, God, it would be nice to be in a place with food and community where I have quote unquote figured that out. I also don't feel like I am present enough with my son. I find a lot of joy out of doing real estate, like I genuinely do. And so if I get a phone call for real estate or my son wants to play, I will pick up the phone not because I have to, but because that's the thing that I actually want to be doing. And so I would love to build a better connection with my son and a better understanding with myself that I don't need to be on all the time, and that like even if I don't find joy in playing cars, like it's important for his development and like let's just do it. So my relationship with food and my relationship with my child are probably the two things that need the most attention right now.
Well, what's your game plan to get there?
Well, I've tried crying and that didn't help. I've tried feeling bad about it and that helped a little bit. Um, I don't know yet, to be honest. The food one's been something that like has been on the back burner my entire life, that it's really just all that it's not all that it's going to take, but like what I really need to do is to take it off the back burner and put it on the front burner and like actively sit with it. But I'm always like, there's other things I should be working on. No need to eat today. My son is a more pressing issue that I don't have an answer for just yet.
So I'll just share a couple things that helped me with both of those things. Um, then you can take it, leave it, whatever you want to do with it. When and I'm overweight right now too. For me, I don't like my weight, but like 4 years ago, I was like all ripped and jacked and shredded, and but all I did was I just got rid of all the garbage in the house, and every Wednesday night and every Sunday morning, I cooked enough food for the next 3 days and packaged it up in these little containers. I went to the store and got like all these little containers. And then so then it wasn't even a thought process. It was like, because I do the same thing now. Like I'm just go, 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 and 100 miles a minute. And so I don't eat all day. And then by the time I get home, like I'm starving. I'm
Right.
like
Famished.
I
Like,
think
yeah.
like 2 nights ago I ate like 6 slices of pizza. Like that's not healthy. And that was my only meal for the day. So like your body's thinking, oh, I better store up food because I'm not gonna get fed for 'cause-
Right.
so it's like and I'm not like starving myself to lose weight. It's just that I go, 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 go. So like if I got back to that meal prep and I had my breakfast prepared, my lunch prepared, and my dinner prepared, and I didn't have to think about it with my busy life and busy schedule, it would work again because it already worked for me in the past, and it worked for me. I'm not saying it will work for you, but um, I just wanted to share because it did work for me before.
For sure. I have like 12 things to say about that. So absolutely. I have definitely gone through kind of all of these options. My last one was exactly that. I bought this book called like the Stealth Health Cookbook, which is basically like a crockpot book cookbook for making like 12 servings of a meal at a time. I made 3 crockpot meals. All of them tasted so bad, not because like the recipes are wrong, but because I, as a person, don't find joy in cooking. And like the whole process made me miserable. And then the food tasted bad. So I threw out $500 worth of food and then still went and got McDonald's. And so I think for me, it's like, I kind of not even a solution, but like my next step above that is I've semi decided to get most of my food catered, where like I can still pay for my community, I can still help the people that do love to cook, and I'll just cater 20 people's worth of food and then put that food into like the small containers for me to eat over the course of 20 days. The like kind of other thing that I specifically need to be very careful of and is very important to me to be careful of is that I am not just now taking my Weight Watchers childhood and putting it on my child, right? So like I have this whole other thing of like I can't remove all of the quote unquote bad foods in the house because like I don't
Yeah.
want my kid to think that there's such thing as a bad food. Like I want my kid to understand how nutrients work. I want my kid to like feel restful at night. I want my kid to be excited about eating Skittles and not like, "Oh, I shouldn't be doing this." So like I have to not only be careful in what I am doing for my body, but I also have to be careful in what he is seeing me do for my body. And like those two things put together is just like, this is exhausting. I'm going to work. Like I'm just gonna go show a house instead of thinking about this. So
I get it. I didn't even think about, how old is he?
4.5. He'll be 5 in
Oh,
June.
yeah, yeah. Then you can't get rid of all the bad food.
Right.
Yeah.
And again, no such thing as bad food. And like it's tough too, because like even like his grandparents, his grandfather speaks in ways like that, right? Where he's like, oh, we gotta eat healthy foods. And it's like my bug will come home and be like, that's not healthy. And it's like, bug, 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 like, don't be afraid of your food. Like you'll turn out like me if you end up afraid of your food. Like just find the things that bring you joy and like make sure you're having enough nutrients. You're gonna be fine. So
Yeah. Yeah, balance, moderation.
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. If you ate like a whole package of Oreo cookies, would that be bad food?
No, because Oreos in of themselves aren't necessarily bad food. I would say that in that case, again, it kind of comes back to what we were talking about originally about like why people are put in the position they're put in. Like, is it a cultural thing? Did you used to eat Oreos with your parents and now like when you feel sad and you miss your mom, like you want to eat Oreos? In which case, like that is healthy. Like that is benefiting like your ability to grieve. Like, is it that you didn't eat all day and now you're eating a whole thing of Oreos? Like the concept of eating all of those Oreos might not give your body nutrients, but that doesn't make the Oreo itself the quote unquote bad thing. It's the like all the different lifestyle things that led you to only having Oreos in your house and like you feeling like shit afterwards. So like no, like I don't think that just because it has sugar in it, it's necessarily bad. It just might not have the nutrients we need to survive, and therefore we can't exclusively eat it. But also, I'm overweight and have had an eating disorder, so what do I know? Everything with a grain of salt.
I mean, you just opened up my perspective. I never thought about it that way. And that's why I love these conversations cuz like I love to see things in a new light or maybe just a different lens maybe. Um Last question. Your son's 4. You there's only 3 life lessons that you can share with him. So you have to narrow all the life lessons down to only 3. What are those 3?
First, I would let him know that like nobody is qualified to answer that question. It's important for me, for him to know, and for like most people in life to know that like there is nobody that knows. Like there are people that like went to school for a little bit longer, or there's people that are like older than you and have had more experience, but like that doesn't necessarily indicate that like what they are saying is fact. And so like I guess it's not just like because
Well,
somebody's an adult they know better than you. So like
let me phrase it in a different way. So the 3 greatest lessons that you've learned thus far in your journey
mhm,
from making mistakes that made your life more difficult and you don't want him to repeat or have to go through the trauma of those mistakes. So what were the 3 things that you learned from maybe really screwing up?
for sure. With the caveat
Uh
being that his life and personality might be different than mine, and also the world he grows up in might look drastically different from mine. So like this might not apply again. Um, I would say one of the things that's always been important to me, and again might not be important to him, might not need it in the future. Um, and I take it to an extreme, so I would want him to have a healthier idea of it, is kind of this idea of like you can get by without all of the luxuries. The reason that I am able to play pickleball at 10 a.m. on a Monday instead of going to work is because like I own my car outright. Like it's a shitty car. I will always own shitty cars. Like I am currently viewer. I am currently wearing sweatpants and pajamas. Like I do not own any suits. Like my computer is 15 years old. It's crashed 6 times this week. Like I personally would love for him to know that like feeling safe and feeling like if something bad happens to you, you have the money to be able to take care of it is way more important than like what I would consider like quote unquote nice things. Um, so that would probably
I
be
actually
one.
love that. I love that. I think that's great advice.
Thank you, thank you. Huzzah, you can be my child now. So the second thing I would tell you now, my child, I genuinely, and like people say this all the time, but I genuinely think that like the people that you know matters more than what you know. And that like if people can trust you and if you can trust them and if they can feel safe around you and if you can feel safe around them, like there are no such things as rules. Like laws exist, but people break them all the time and get away with it because they were nice to the police officer or because their cousin was a lawyer. You know, like the rules like are they're all just kind of made up and like if people trust you and you're a safe person and you're kind, not kind to everybody, but within reason, um, you'll get potentially maybe a lot further than not even further, but like your life will be a little bit easier, possibly. Um, all of my things have caveats because I don't want people to think that everything is universal. And then my third life lesson. Um, oh, brush your teeth. Dental work is expensive, and it doesn't feel very good.
That's funny. The second one actually is the one that because I did the same thing with my daughter, right? And the second one is almost like kind of the same thing. So I told my daughter like, the three things but the one thing was like understand like human psychology, what makes people tick, what makes people um like truly understanding people. I think gives you because everything in this world is sales. Everything. I think most any profession that you choose and just like um just having like even a healthy support system. It's not
Right.
sales so much, but relationships,
Yeah.
right? So just like understanding people and what makes them tick and human psychology, I think is like really diving into that. And I think is so incredibly important. I told my daughter, like, just really spend a lot of time with that.
Right.
Um,
And I don't necessarily think that like I think it's really easy in conversations like this to just be like be kind and like I want to clarify that like I don't think having a quote unquote network necessarily means that like everybody likes you. It just means that like make sure like you're accountable for yourself and that like you're following like your ethics and that like you have some people that you feel safe with and that feel safe with you, not necessarily that like if somebody's burning down your house you're being like, you know what, that's your right, have fun. So everything with a caveat.
I know I said that was the last one, but I have one more. What's your favorite thing about entrepreneurship?
I can tell you my least favorite thing about entrepreneurship. It's tax season because I am not an accountant.
Right.
They should not put me in charge of anything. My favorite thing is like your very stereotypical answer of like making your own schedule. Like I, I can play pickleball at 10 a.m. You know, I get to choose. I get to choose, and so like that flexibility is nice.
If
Taxes
someone who's
suck.
listening maybe they're working a W-2 or they're just graduating college and they're thinking, um, I don't know if I want to go work for corporate America or go the entrepreneurship route. What advice would you have for them?
Amazing question. I believe very wholeheartedly in like security and safety and like typically like financial safety and like mental health and all that fun stuff. I actually don't recommend entrepreneurship for a lot of people. There are like So this is my third year in real estate. I would say this is probably my first year when I'm not stressed out. Like, I am my own boss. I have to figure out my own taxes. What the fuck's a payroll if I want to hire somebody? Like, I don't know. I don't want to Google that. Like, you're telling me I could go to jail if I like accidentally forget that I paid somebody something? Like, it's just like, it's a lot. And only just this year have I been like, you know what? Like, this is kind of nice. If I could like go all the way back, I'm not saying I would do anything differently necessarily, but like, I definitely think maybe I'd only be on 20 milligrams of Prozac instead of 40 milligrams of Prozac if like I became a carpenter or if I like became a mechanic or something where I do have to like clock into a job. And like having a W 2 job like gives you a nice structure to like know definitively that you're going to have your weekends off or know definitively you're going to have the evenings off. Like I don't know when I'm working. So I don't know. I think it's all like personality based and like what interests you and like what level of security you want. But like I don't think there's anything wrong with a W 2 job.